Hi, David. I'm here to wish you a happy birthday and see if you remember some of the things that I remember from our childhood. You may not remember many of them because you were usually the perpetrator and I was usually the victim. Remember, Mom would only let us have one Pepsi a day each, and so we decided in order to stretch out our Pepsis, we kept it in the refrigerator and went back and forth and got sips out of our own bottle all day long to stretch it out. Well, one morning I know what I was going to say. When I used to go get my sips out of mine sometimes, it seemed like it didn't have as much in it when I finished my latest sip, and I'm sure you thought the same. Well, one morning I had to babysit the baby next door. Everybody in our house was sound asleep. So I was getting ready to leave. I was in the kitchen and I opened the refrigerator and I thought, oh, I hit the jackpot. His Pepsi is still in there. So I took the biggest gulp I could ever take to try to get even with him. And we had a white kitchen sink. As soon as it hit my mouth, I thought I was poisoned. And I spit it in that white sink. And when I did that, I knew I was poisoned. It was black green. You later confessed that you poured a box of salt in there and a bottle of green food coloring. I never drank out of your bottle again, and you were so thrilled at your accomplishment. When we moved to Palmer Park, Maryland, there was construction everywhere, and we had two friends that were cousins that lived directly across the street. Each of the houses had a storage shed, a wooden storage shed, and each of those had a door with 4 or 5 circles on top cut out for decorative purposes and ventilation. We were at or in one of the storage sheds, and you and your friend Bobby came and closed the door and trapped us in there and got a hose and put it up to the holes in the door. We were drenched. We decided we were going to get even with you, and eventually we got you all trapped in a shed and grabbed the hose and put it up at the door, and the water all came back at us and we were drenched again. And there had been a roll of tar paper left in that shed by construction workers, black tar paper, and you all had taken some of it and put it up at the holes. We didn't know they were covered with black paper. We thought it was the holes, so we were drenched again. Do you remember the big, flat, square cement mixer pan that we drug down to the short end of Greenleaf Road to the deepest part of the creek, and we used it as a barge and barged up and down the creek, and it was so much fun, unless too many people got in it, and then it would sink lower in that deep part of the creek, and the water would pour in the big hole at the top, very top of the thing. Then it wasn't too much fun, especially in the cold weather. We were all soaking wet. But, oops, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There was a sidewalk from the street. We stepped down 2 steps to get in our front door. The sidewalk, there was no grass, and the whole yard was nothing but red clay, mud, and water. And, I don't know what you were doing one day, if you lost your balance or trying to do some dumb trick, but you all of a sudden ended up face flat down in the red clay mud, covered head to toe, and when you got up, there was nowhere you could see any human being part of a body. That's new. And when Mom saw you, she'd love to be here and see that again, but when she saw you, she was horrified. She laughed and laughed and laughed. I can still remember the look on her face when she opened that door and saw you. I'm sure she loved having to clean you up. But anyway, that was one big memory that I remembered. Speaking of red clay, do you remember when I got stuck in that same red clay further back in the part of the construction area, the same red clay that you took a dive in, and I could not get out. It was like quicksand, only probably stronger than quicksand, and they had, whoever was with me, I don't know if you were one of them or what, had to go run get help to get me out of there. Stuck in it, deep. It was like quicksand. There was no getting out. Whoever was with me couldn't help me. They had to run for help. I think it was big boys in the neighborhood, a couple of boys, and one of them might have even been my boyfriend for a while, but they got me out, but they had trouble. I thought I was going to die in that stuff. I'm telling you, you should have seen him with it covered. So I don't know how you felt when you were covered in it, but 2 last memories. First one is I think I had the earliest hula hoop ever, and you and all the kids and teenagers in the neighborhood showed up in our yard, I think probably recruited by you, and came up with every imaginable kind of trick to do with my poor hula hoop. And I think you all ganged up, boys against girls, if I remember correctly. And by the end of the night, you were throwing my hula hoop back and forth over the roof to each other. And by then it was the dark of night. Another and last memory that I have is the treehouse that you and Dad built, or maybe Dad just built it for you. Anyway, it was between 3 trees, looked like a piece of cake, and had black tar paper on the outside. And I knew you spent a lot of time up in there at nights. But anyway, that was the last fun memory I have. Wishing you a happy new year and a safe, healthy, happy 2017. This has been a lot of fun doing this and being able to share these old memories with you. I'm going to have to start thinking and see if I can come up some more. If I do, I will zip them to you.